Oh, smells like freaking skunk. Hi everyone, it's me again. I just want to say thank you to everyone who liked and shared, and a few of you even donated. I'll be reaching out to you personally, but really amazing to see. And it feels great to have like such a large and warm reception. I don't really want to make videos out of walking, but I kind of have to right now because I was planning on live streaming it, but I can't. I have 80 followers and you need 100. So here I am until I get that situated. I also wanted to say that I had a few people reach out who have lived something similar or the same, or needed to hear what I had to say. I think just based on that alone makes me feel so amazing. We live in a messy and uncaring world for the most part. Sometimes we hold things inside that can be helpful to other people, and sometimes you just need to feel not so alone. And I am incredibly happy that I could offer something. There ain't no freaking sidewalk here. That's not gonna happen. Look at that. No sidewalk. I ain't walking to Dalton Ave. Not in the winter. I guess I'll just go over the plan here. I have like a year. I'm giving myself a year. There's no reason, if everything looks good, it can't be sooner. In a year, we'll say. The route is 150 miles. The route that I'm taking. I'm not going the whole way. I don't think that's wise for me. We're gonna do from Porto, and that's about 150 miles, the whole route. Probably 2 weeks will be the trip. I'm planning 12 to 15 days, but it's tough to say. I need to get better at listening to my body and giving it a rest when it is letting me know it needs a rest. But I'm shooting for 2 weeks. So, what is that? I'm terrible at math, but maybe 12 miles a day. The other piece of that puzzle is I don't have gear right now. I don't need the gear, but eventually be able to do a good amount of miles and carry weight. I want to see if I could hike from my house to a camping place in Cheshire, which is, I don't remember, maybe 15 miles away from my house, with camping gear in my backpack, camp there, next day, walk back to my house. That's eventually where I want to get. Hopefully, I don't know, get there this summer maybe? I shoot for, but likely late fall. That's exciting to me though, because right now I'm just trying to get to a point where I feel like I'm progressing. That is goal number 3, maybe, I guess. It's a pretty important milestone. But I need to figure out milestones between now and then. Not chronologically between. But like, what is the first goal? 2 miles a day is not really challenging. Well, okay. Let me reword this. It's too loud up there. Physically, I have no problem doing that. What I need to work on is mental endurance, because some days, like, I could do 3 miles, but mentally, could I do 3 miles? Am I going to do 3 miles and then go home and that's it for the day? I'm mentally exhausted, because that doesn't work. I'm trying to bake into plan for when I do this trip at least 1 or 2 rest days where I can just not worry about it and mentally recuperate. But I don't want to have to do that. I'd rather show up and be mentally and physically ready to go. I've been trying to read more lately. Get back into the habit of that. I was thinking about Albert Camus, and I want to go back and read. Well, I've read The Stranger and The Fall, but I wanted to read The Myth of Sisyphus. So I was watching some YouTube videos on how to approach it going into it. And also, I think I watched a breakdown of The Stranger, so I could think about that in a different way when rereading it. I found a video talking about absurdism, and I watched that, and then watched another one, and I'm so happy I did, because I read the Trial by Franz Kafka, and it was really absurd to me, so yeah. But it was absurd in a different way. I was thinking about it wrong. I just thought it was absurd because it felt like a dream or a nightmare. I don't know. I could explain more, but basically this video on absurdism broke down to me in a way that made way more sense. I have to fart. I've heard that quote, like, I'm gonna butcher it, so I'm not even gonna try. Yeah, I'll try. Something Camus said was like, blah 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 blah, in a world that remains indifferent to your suffering. But I still didn't really understand. It didn't click. That makes sense to me on its own. This person described absurdism as when you talk to a child who is the most smart person there is, children, because they do that thing, why? They question everything, why? And no matter who you talk to, eventually they get the why question and don't have an answer, because there's not an answer to everything. That is the absurdism. Why? Try it. Think of something and ask why. And then you get the answer. Then next thing, why? Why is the sky blue? Because it reflects the ocean. Well, why? Why does it reflect the ocean? Well, because the air molecules are, I don't know. But eventually, you get to something you can't answer. That is the absurd. No matter who you talk to, they might know things, but they don't know everything. You know why? Because nothing is a true explanation. Absurdism, from my perspective anyways, differs from nihilism, because with nihilism, nothing makes sense. So why bother? And with absurdism, it's nothing makes sense. So why not? At least if I'm understanding correctly, these things take studying, which I did not do. I just watched a YouTube video. This matches my outlook and how I've been feeling since my stroke. Nothing matters, but everything matters. Like the bigger grand scheme doesn't matter. But my walk here today, like this time, this feeling, the fresh air, like this is all more important than the whole. It makes sense to me, but I can't articulate it, so. But I feel like that's where absurdism calls to me. Nothing matters, nothing has an explanation. I mean, it does, but you always fail eventually to explain everything, literally everything, because at the root, nothing is explainable. The absurdism is that this is what you look at and decide, I want to live my life with my own rules, my own way, and at the end of the day, no one can explain. That doesn't mean we shouldn't try, but it means to me, if someone wants to rain on your parade for doing something you want to do, it doesn't matter. They don't know anything. And neither do you. No one does. So, there are rules of the universe we should follow so we don't make life more difficult. I'm not saying go max out credit cards to do something you want to do. I'll go this way. I mean, I'm not making a ton of sense right now, but it makes sense to me in my head. It's just when I put it out there, it doesn't. I'm sure you get a fraction of what I'm saying, or maybe the whole thing. Study it if you want to learn more about the perspective. It's really cool and definitely an interesting way of thinking about things.